I feel the best I've ever fucking felt. It's because I refuse to fuck with any of those stories. I refused it in my pregnancy. I refused it in my birth. I refuse it in motherhood. And our relationship, like, I've consciously allowed myself to go, my work feeds me. I want to go and be fed by my work. You know, I'm also blessed and have intentionally created work where my work looks like me in my office and my baby in the next room and me coming out to play with him and hug him and kiss him and feed him and then go back in for a little bit. Like, that's what my work looks like. You know, but this is the reason, like, me feeding all of those parts of me, and then our relationship, like, you consciously really knowing that, you know, my motherhood, to feel fed in my motherhood is actually all these other pieces feeding all these other pieces that then filter into my mothering. And then when I'm feeling fed as a mother, that feeds all these other pieces too. And right now it's like my mothering, the fact that I've given birth and become mother, has electrified my fucking work.
Yo, 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 lovers. Welcome to Sex, Love, and everything in between. We're the O'Neills. You're here with Meg and Jacob.
And this is the place we have really uncensored conversations about sex, intimacy, and relationships. We're super excited you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Hey, lovers.
Hey, lovers.
Hey, lover.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. I feel so good. I'm really excited we're here doing this because I don't think we've done a podcast together for maybe 2 months, maybe more.
Love the shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I'm in like full mum uniform right now, which I resisted for 6 months.
And you have gone in hard.
Really?
I think you like really embraced it, yeah.
Like the
cap, the oversized tee.
Jacob, I actually joked with a friend today, our friend Susie, who this is her get up anyway.
She rocks the mum outfit.
She looks like a mum, but she's not a mum yet. And I don't know if it's just a Gold Coast thing, but most mums here on the Gold Coast wear a cap. And I'm wearing my full spectrum woman cap right now, which I've never, probably for the last 15 years, I've never rocked a cap before.
You do rock it though.
Thank you. I'm wearing these tight, like bell-bottom brown pants. And an oversized tee, but the Gold Coast, and I was rocking my Crocs, but not Crocs, they're actually called cloggies and they're hot pink.
I don't know why cloggies makes it okay, like if you're wearing Crocs.
I think it's because I tried on Crocs. I went to the store and I was super pregnant because I couldn't, it was challenging to lean down and like do up shoes, so I was like, I just literally want Crocs. I know they're so fucking ugly, but I want them to walk to the creek in. And then I went to the store, tried them on, and I was like, I can't do it. And then we were at our favorite Mexican, and next door is a pharmacy. Yeah. And we were walking past the pharmacy, and they have like knockoff versions of Crocs called cloggies, and they're like $30 or $39 or something. And I tried them on, and you made me get them, and for some reason that was okay because it wasn't Crocs, and I hadn't spent it just like I wasn't.
It kind of made, we used that to justify the purchase. Yeah,
and now and then I left, I bought like a neutral cream coloured pair and wore them heaps at the end of pregnancy, heaps at the beginning of, postpartum, and then I left them at the beach, and then I went back and I bought a magenta colour.
Bright pink purple.
Our brother-in-law and sister, well, your sister, but my sister-in-law and brother-in-law moved close to us recently, and we were at the cafe the other day, and Thomas said to me, oh, I like spotted you, but then I looked at the shoes and was like, that couldn't be Meg. So we kept walking. He goes, I did not think you would wear those shoes.
Yeah, that's who you are now.
So yeah, Gold Coast mum uniform is a cap, an oversized tee, usually bike shorts.
Bike shorts, yes.
And Crocs. So I'm kind of there. I'm not quite rocking the bike shorts and oversized tee. Probably will.
You definitely will.
I've got cloggies instead of Crocs.
And what's the tuck?
No, I don't do the tuck. I just leave it fully oversized. But yeah, we were laughing like about what makes you a mum on the Gold Coast. It's actually not birthing a baby. It's the outfit you wear.
Outfit, exactly.
I feel more of a mother now in the outfit than I do
when you're carrying the baby. But in general, how are you feeling, my love?
I'm feeling great.
You're on fire, aren't you?
I truly, genuinely do. And I saw a few people this morning that one I hadn't seen since giving birth. And
who'd you see?
India.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw brother who I hadn't seen in months.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a bunch of people, and yeah, it's just beautiful. I'm finding it really enjoyable to express how great I feel, and I feel like sometimes it surprises people. I'm 6 months into my motherhood already, but and I think I'd love this to be a really big part of the conversation today around what it's looked like these last 6 months, and how we're integrating life and business and 2 businesses, and how that's feeling for us and how that's flowing. And you've run some really big events and facilitated trainings, and I just came out of a 3-day immersion that I held and you co-facilitated part of, and I held a big 80 women event last month, and we've been doing some things. We've been making some big moves, and I'm feeling really nourished. How are you feeling?
I'm actually really horny.
Yeah, you are. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sorry, but
You should be.
yeah, just that's actually something that's been quite life-giving probably the last few weeks, because the truth is in terms of if we're looking at sex from a penetration perspective, or even any kind of genital orgasm kind of perspective, we haven't been having or experiencing a lot of that together. There's definitely been very intimate moments. There's definitely been, some fun, playful things here and there.
Like sensual massage?
Like cock sucking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
there's been a bit of that. And there's been beautiful, intimate experiences together. But
I felt really connected to you in many moments.
Totally. And physically connected, and times we're just lying in bed and I'm just resting into you, and but in terms of actual physical sex, in that small definition way, we had been really struggling to experience that together. And, whether that's because we were just finding our flow. And recently I feel like we've had a whole lot more of it. But we had beautiful lovemaking on, what day was it? Monday.
Yes.
And I got to have an incredible orgasmic experience.
And I did not have an incredible experience. Sans orgasm.
Yeah, and then so we've been, and I actually like this. I've told you I really love this when I get to have an orgasm, but then you hold the energy in your body for days, because I love the yearning you have for me, and I love
I don't give much away, do I?
I love that hard cock kind of energy that you bring, and I love feeling that, and I love feeling your wanting and your yearning, and you just and the way you just talk about wanting me, or just talk dirty to me, or express that. Oh my god, I love that. So it's now what day? Thursday. So yeah,
I've lost count.
Yeah.
I've gone blind in my left eye. And I got insomnia. And I'm really struggling to eat.
Does it actually feel like that?
I don't know, there's such...
Breathe down into your balls, circulate the energy, breathe it right out to your ground.
I'm doing that. It's not working anymore. And I think this is I think we can become stoic as men and be semen retention, that's how we hold the field and all sorts of stuff. But it's I think there's a truth to being in the yearn, being in the desire, and letting that be a part of the sex. I think that's been super fun. And there's also you don't have to delay it or force yourself to not have what you want. And I think that's the place that we really play in really well. And it creates these micro moments of deep intimacy that I love. I really love.
Me too. And I think just on that sex piece, it's when we had a cyclone here a few weeks ago, which, are we calling it a cyclone still? I don't even know if it was an actual cyclone when it actually hit, but for about a week. We just had a wild few weeks. We were away for 5 or 6 days visiting.
Life has been full.
Yeah, it was really full, and we came back, and it was for 4 or 5 days just waiting for a cyclone. Do we leave? Do we, what it was, how's it going?
We had to go on a trip down to Sydney with friends. We were on the verge of...
Do we get the fuck out of here? I was just expecting that, and I know, real category 4 or 5 cyclones, this happens, but I was expecting to look out the window and chairs be flying past, and
see the Wizard of Oz.
Dogs be flying in the air, and like part of me wanted the drama, but yeah. So, but we had 2 days without electricity. You have a generator.
I'm a man, so I have a generator.
Masculine embodiment.
Take what you will from that statement. I'm a man, therefore I have a generator.
So we got to hook the fridge up and everything, but we didn't have service.
No TV.
Like, yeah. Do we have light? What did we do?
Didn't have lights.
Yeah, so we were just hooked up. We hooked the coffee machine and the fridge up.
And we charged our red lights.
Yeah, So it was beautiful for like 48 hours to not have anything. You know, we didn't have service, we didn't have anything. It was so beautiful, and we had a really beautiful, intimate night when Oshi went to sleep, which was so, like, just holding each other and massaging and all these things, and which led to, like, beautiful lovemaking. And, yeah, then the lovemaking we had earlier in the week, I don't know, it's just, for me, it's just reminding me how much, like, the environment, we can create and curate an environment which makes sex and intimacy more probable, creates less distraction and less things trying to pull our attention away, which I think is even more, you know, we both run big businesses and like are so fucking turned on by our mission. Sometimes when our baby's asleep, we want to be on mission.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. And I think, I was talking about how both of us have businesses, and like sometimes when Oshi's asleep, it's not always our first thing to choose sex. And just also realizing if like it's my desire to experience more of that or learn how to create that and have that as a regular part of our life now as we're parents, because you know, the reality is our son sleeps max maybe 2.5 hours at night without, you know, being close to the boob.
Yes. He's a fiend.
And same during the day, you know, when he's in our bed and all these things. And so, yeah, there's kind of like a strategy behind choosing that too.
I think too, like the piece that I've really picked up on is that we get to like sprinkle intimacy throughout our day, our week, and then when the urge comes through for sex and the opportunity presents itself, we're not just like striking from a cold place. It's like we're not forcing quick, let's create fire or create friction with our genitals. It's like we're in the, for lack of a better words, eros of our sex life, and we're constantly in the dance of polarity, which then leads to when the opportunity presents itself, we're not just trying to force it.
Yes, and I think that's why when I was talking before about, you know, we haven't had a lot of like penis in vagina sex since, you know, since Oshi's been here. But I'm also very particular with how I bring that, because also I felt very intimately connected to you. I feel like our relationship feels so connected, and I don't feel a lack of, I don't feel less connected to you because of that, right? I love that sensation of having you inside of me. I love that experience together. And again, it's like sex is like so much wider and deeper and bigger than that. So we're having experiences that I would call sex, but aren't necessarily, you know, your cock in my pussy. And I would also like your cock in my pussy on a regular basis.
Amen to that, sister.
And I think, something we're working out is that morning, like Ochi likes a little bit of a sleep in, so that, that morning, like when you walked into the bedroom the other day. Can I continue?
You were going to anyway.
Yeah, I
love that you asked consent, but you I don't think even if I said no, you'd you want to tell the story, so go ahead.
I woke up to you, like I rolled over, and I was still sleeping. My son was, you know, asleep behind me, and you know, just like hard cock was in my face, and I was just like, oh my God, I love that. And I was just like so ready when I was so excited that you were choosing that and you wanted me in that, and like that was how you were going to choose to spend the morning with me. So that was really beautiful. And
I think that's like consciously choosing that, like, okay, cool, like I want it. How can I engage with this? And like, even if you weren't ready, it's like, cool, that's still feeding the fire. Like even if you like rolled over and were like, oh, and then we cuddled, or
I think we did, didn't we?
I don't think we...
I think we did cuddle. I think it was a very slow burn anyway, but...
Ocean's awake.
Ocean's awake.
I'll grab him. You keep talking about this because I think this is an important piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how we flow, my loves. Now our sun is awake. Yeah, so just that, like, grace. I think this is how I've been working with our sex life and our intimacy since becoming parents. It's like offering our relationship grace, not putting pressure, releasing any story about how often we should be having sex from that, like, very static black and white view of, like, sex equals penis and vagina. And just allowing the, like, you know, I think one of the biggest reasons why we have sex is to feel intimately connected to each other. Would you agree?
Definitely, it's about connection for us. I would argue that the reason we don't just have P and V sex, like the friction-based sex, is that we do, for us, it's a connection piece. It's not actually about just getting a feeling of relief or an orgasm or ejaculating. Because that's just another way to like, for me, that would just be like a regulation of, like, my energy. It's like, oh, I just need a release. It's like, no, I actually want connection and I want to experience depth.
And neither of us...
And sex gets to be that.
Yeah, and neither of us ask that of each other. I would never want you to just lick my pussy because I would want you to be fully fucking there doing that.
Yes.
And I think both of us have a level of attunement when we can feel that. And neither of us say yes when we don't really mean fuck yes, when we can't be fully embodied in the experience. And I'm the same. When I suck your cock, we're also finding, like, just to be really real, our son is 6 months and he's on Jacob's lap right now, and we've both been in conversation lately of, like, when can we stop saying things like this in front of him?
Yeah, when we use code words.
Yeah, when does that become, and where I'm fully comfortable saying it in front of him right now. But yeah, like, when does that, we've just been playing and being like, when do we have to stop talking dirty in our home to each other very overtly, and when does that have to be more covert and
subtle?
Yeah, and subtle. Not, yeah.
I would also say, in the way that we bring our desires to our relationship, there's a really beautiful way of, like, framing it, I think, is like, hey, I really feel like you need to suck my cock today. Or, hey, I think my pussy needs licking today. It's like, or I feel like you need to lick my pussy pretty soon. I can feel that that's something that needs to happen for our relationship. And we can frame these things that doesn't put our partner on the spot, that also, like, builds the energy, like, places some wood on the fire. And that's what I think we're both quite good at, is, like, bringing our desire. And I can tell, like, when we are busy in our work and when we are turned on by life and what we're creating, like, our sex can actually be a part of that, and our sex can actually feed that.
Yes.
And also our parenthood gets to be fed by that as well. Like, we get to enjoy our relationship alongside it, and it gets to influence it and impact it in a positive way, rather than it be this thing that we have to choose instead of. It can be as well as.
Totally.
Even though it might not be as frequent as we say we want, we can actually create the depth of experience within the current frame of, like, yes, we're parents, yes, we run businesses, but we also like to fuck. So we're going to do that as well, appropriately.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like, that beautiful lovemaking we had on Monday morning, even though you didn't fully get off.
It was beautiful, but it was missing one thing.
But, like, that came off the back of me feeling so turned on and alive from claimed, and I feel like, you know, maybe you witnessing me in that energy and witnessing my aliveness as well, had you, like, feeling like you really, wanted to claim me.
Totally, and I think you were turned on. I think you had created your own turn on, which meant that I didn't feel responsible for it. I was drawn in by it. So quite often, you know, in the past we've had this dynamic where you're like, well, turn me on. Like, well, you have to turn me on if you want it. It's like that is the least inviting or the least attractive thing for me, is when someone says I have to do something to get what I want in that way, which is like, I want to feel drawn in by you, where it's like, I want to fall at your feet and want to devour you, worship you, and through that, you know, seeing you in your power and seeing you in your magic and seeing you turned on by your own creations, it's like, I want that woman.
Yes. Hey, I reckon you'd be okay on the mat.
You reckon you'd be okay on the mat?
Yeah, and just pop a bunch of things around you.
No, we'll just see him straight down here. See how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Are you good down there?
Parenting and podcasting.
Yeah, you're witnessing it right now. Yeah, I love that. And just that piece around like, and this is, you know, coming back to claimed and that piece you just shared around like me not pointing my finger at you, being like, claim me, ravish me, turn me on. You know, that was a huge dynamic, or a big dynamic that we had years ago, of me outsourcing my turn on to you and thinking, oh, I want to be claimed, I want to be ravished, I want you to like take the lead, but then also thinking that meant you like outsourcing my full experience, turn on pleasure to you.
Yes, and a man taking the lead does not mean that he takes responsibility for your turn on.
Yes. And so like a huge piece that we really spoke into at claimed, and really the essence of that whole experience is, okay, what brings you into the room is you want to be claimed or ravished, but actually the man, your future man, has nothing to do with why you're truly fucking here, because why you're truly fucking here is to become a woman alive in her eros, a woman alive in herself, a woman that has descended so deep into her body that she radiates aliveness, turn on, magnetism, you know, just alive in her ability to be able to bring her desire and just move through life in her full spectrum. Like that is a woman available to be claimed. That is a woman that evokes that energy, that claim, that ravishment from a man. And so many women struggle and are exhausted by that process or that dynamic in a relationship where they know they want that, but they're really still in this energy of thinking that the way to get that is by pointing their finger at their man and saying, change, be more masculine, bring more of your leadership, organize a date for us, da-da-da. And there's nothing wrong with any of those desires, but if you're doing or asking for that and you're not actually on the process or in the journey of awakening the deep primal feminine life force within you, that, like, asking him to organize a date for you is just so surface level. It's not actually, he can't go down and connect you to the deep primal, like, of the feminine within you.
What's he claiming?
He can't unlock your radiance for you. That if he organizes a date for you, it might make you feel giddy, might have you in a little bit of like gooiness for a little bit, but that's not actually going to awaken and be a sustainable way of moving through life deeply anchored in your feminine essence and moving and offering that to yourself first and foremost, but then into your partnership. Like, that's a you job.
Yeah, it starts with you, and that's what I loved about claimed, is like it awakens that, and then a woman can bring that texture of woman, they bring that texture of their womanness to the relationship, and that is such a claimable
Maybe we go put him on the green.
Yeah.
Just so he has more space to...
That's so claimable as well, and I think that's what you're talking about. Like, I felt like there was such a texture of woman to claim in our house when you're turned on by your work, when you're turned on by what life is asking you to bring through, and you're in relationship with that. I feel like I can then get to like claim the fullness of who you are, not just the expectation of being claimed for the sake of not having to take responsibility for your own.
Yes.
I guess your own turn on, your own experience of life.
That's yummy. That's so yummy. Okay. Just
We're making this work.
Relocating our son.
If you're a parent, or even if you're not a parent, please get a Mellow Mat or one of the knockoff brands, because they are the greatest things in the world.
Yeah, this one's called the Cloud9. I think Mellow Mat is the original, but we got a big one because, and I got this brand because it's in forest green and I wanted the green.
I would have our entire floor like that. It feels
it's
so
like
nice.
It's like a thick rug, carpety kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so nice.
It's a good when babies roll and like and toddlers and all the things. I really want to speak about, because I think I've been getting this question a lot, like women and people in our community watching us and also watching me run an event like Full Spectrum Women last month with like over 80 women. that was a live experience, running a 3-day immersion, and asking questions around like, how did I do it while I'm like exclusively breastfeeding? How did I do that weekend?
It's all because of me. I'm starting a labour hire company for any women that want to run powerful movements, and I'm going to be renting out other men who can come and hold your baby and do all of the logistics. So it's all about me.
That's probably 99% true.
No, I think it's got more to do with the way that we relate that allows that the foundations that we relate through allow your dreams, your manifestation of what you want to bring through to actually just be available. It's like, of course. And that's the piece that I think a lot of people miss. And if I had a whiteboard, I'd draw it. But a lot of people want to experience intimacy, which is like, I feel connected to you. A lot of people want to feel polarity, which is I'm attracted to you. But not a lot of people really practice the art of devotion, which is what is love asking of me in this moment. And that's when you have to throw the rule book out. That's when you have to throw out, well, whose turn is it anyway? Or I did this, so therefore you have to do that. Or this is what makes sense from a logistical, financial, practical perspective. Because realistically, running all of the events that we've run, it's not really that practical. It's not really that logistical. And financially, we're in a stage of our business where we're like expanding again. So for me, this is not just about me being a really good husband or me being really helpful. This is more about the foundational values that we have as part of our. And we've never really agreed on it. We've just embodied it as like that we truly believe in what each of us are creating, and we see the value in supporting each other on the path of leadership.
Yeah, and maybe we like deepen there because these weren't conversations we really had leading into giving birth. I had no idea what my relationship with my business was going to look like. This was a little conscious, but it was a lot unconscious, thought that I would go back into business and feel like so burdened by business and actually feel like I don't want to run a business anymore and I want to just close everything down and I don't want to do anything anymore. Like I thought there was going to be a huge part of me that was just like, I just want to be mother. I don't want to be anything else. I don't, like, it just feels like a burden. And that has, so, you know, we didn't have discussions around, okay, at 3 months, Meg will go back to work and it will look like this and these are how many days and this is how the finance is going to look and you will bring in this amount. It was like, our life does not work like that, and we do not work like that. We are much more attuned to what's the truth at the moment. Some people would look at how we run our lives and maybe how we don't have those kind of conversations sometimes and probably think, what the fuck, but...
Fuck them.
I love them, but that's what's really alive for us. We have a level of structure in our lives now that, you know, because we have a baby, but also we are very much attuned to what's the truth now, what's the truth, what's being asked of us. And
I would rather our child witness us move through the challenges of choosing what lights us up and dealing with the financial struggle, dealing with the logistical struggle, dealing with the expansiveness of our life than to go into creating structure for the sake of security. And I know that it's important to feel safe and it's important to regulate and it's important to have a window of tolerance and all those sort of things, but I feel that if we're really here on a path of creating a new way, he's going for the guitar, if we're really here to experience a new way and really like set the foundations for the life that we want to live, we get to choose to prioritize things that don't necessarily make sense or things that don't necessarily add up from a logistical or a practical standpoint right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And so... Sorry, just getting comfortable again.
And we also have some maturing to do in those areas as well. Like I think that for me, expanding, you then learn to regulate and integrate through regulating your nervous system to this new level of leadership. And for me, it's like if you had have waited till he was 3 to run your Full Spectrum Woman Live event, you were just delaying the inevitable. You were just holding back for fear of like, I don't know why. And then to like feel claimed in the space, and I can feel it I was talking about, we had a conversation around taking Sacred Rage over to New Zealand later in the year, and the guy I was speaking to, he's like, well, is Meg going to come with you and run Full Spectrum Woman live? Is Meg going to bring Claimed? I'm like,
Oh, I love that.
And what I would say is that as you continue to grow, you inspire me to grow. As I grow, I feel that you expand your capacity as well. I've been running in-person events a lot more than you, and then as soon as you've brought them into the space, you've felt the life.
Yes,
like you felt life move through you, and you're like, more. So, for me, this is... And then it revealed, okay, cool, I want to take April and November off every year starting next year. Like, what does it look like to create a lifestyle where we have nice, beautiful chunks of time where we actually go and be a family, and then when we come back, we really, our business is a part of our life. It's not something we have to step out of and step back into. And we create a lifestyle that really honors how we want to roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing, again, we didn't have those kind of conversations around this is the smartest thing to do financially when we know. We were just like, what? And this is what it's felt like coming in and finding our way running two businesses in parenthood.
Okay.
Yeah. Is what's most alive right now? What feels true right now? And for me, about 2 and a bit months in, maybe 3 months in, when I really started, probably 2 and a bit months in, I was like, I want to run a Claimed next year, and I want to do a Full Spectrum Woman live. I'd never done that before. I was like, but I want to be live. Can you actually just check the video too and make sure it's still... I want to... I want to bring Full Spectrum Woman, my online hub of holding women. I want to meet those women in the flesh. I want to hold space. I want a 100-woman event, right? And that, maybe other people looking at me being 3 months postpartum and organizing that would have thought that was insane, but that was what felt most alive, and that was what felt most life-giving. And that wasn't I need to make money move. That was this is what's lighting me up right now, and this is what I'm being pulled into creating. And there was actually part of me that felt like I said before, that my work would feel like a burden once I gave birth. And now in retrospect, I'm like, of course my work and creativity didn't feel like a burden. I gave motherfucking birth. I became a portal to the other side. My creativity was only ever going to be amplified. My desire to create and be a vessel to birth things, not just my son, but birth things in the world, was only ever going to be amplified when I gave birth to him, when I became a mother.
And I feel the way in which you birthed also only reflected back your ability to create, to do things your way. I feel that you really, I think it only anchored you more into your leadership and more into your devotion to serving and guiding women back to who they truly are.
I might give him some boob.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with the chaos. There you go. And just on that point, just to kind of flow somewhere else for a moment, but it feels really alive. People say, and obviously it does, but people say, that journey from maiden to mother, from, not having a baby to then becoming a mother and having a child, or birthing a child, is, it transforms you. You're not the same person, a woman on the other side. And yes, and I felt more like myself than ever before as a mother. I was expecting to feel like this real death, and that hasn't been a huge experience of mine.
Can I share about that once you've finished?
I want to deepen, but you can share. And I don't want to lose my train of thought.
Okay.
And yes, I believe that I have had many initiations, and I was... Bro.
Mommy's trying to deepen right now.
Where I really wanted to go with that is that on the weekend, I held Claimed. So this is my 3-day in-person immersion.
You must, if you're a woman, you must make it a priority to come to this. This thing is unlike anything ever.
Fucking level.
It is
the first
unlike
one was amazing. The weekend was absolutely motherfucking impeccable and next level, and it was a fucking masterpiece what went down in that room.
Oh, a masterpiece.
It was such a fucking masterpiece. Like, what unfolded in every woman's body, what unfolded in my facilitating, what unfolded just in the collective and like as a co-creation, it's fucking impeccable. And I left that weekend, or even throughout the weekend, something that I observed within myself as a facilitator, and I haven't done that much in-person stuff over the last, few years since COVID, because so much of it has been online. But what I witnessed in my facilitating and also just myself as a creator was how much I trusted. Like, even when, I'd even like facilitating and be like, actually, change my mind, let's do this part instead. Or we were supposed to have someone come care for Oshi on the Saturday and be on the land, and they couldn't, like, at the absolute last moment. And I was just like, that's fine, we'll find someone else. And even Meg of like a year ago probably would have had a lot of contraction around that, or tried to be like, oh my gosh, and like got micromanaging around that. There's probably Meg of a year ago would have gotten micromanaging around other things in the space, like would have taken responsibility for so much more than she needed to. And my depth of trust in facilitating, my depth of just being an open vessel and surrendering to the space and surrendering to what wanted to move through me was like nothing I've ever felt as a facilitator and a businesswoman before. And I know that was because of the way that I birthed. And I know, again, when I said about like people say you change, like that made into mother journey, I think there was an expectation of I was going to come into motherhood and immediately be like, I don't feel like myself before, and who the fuck am I, and da, da, da. And like I said, I felt more like myself. And on the weekend, I don't know, it was just such a beautiful confirmation of, that initiation did change me. That initiation has shifted me on a cellular level. I didn't have to think about trusting. I didn't go into the weekend going, it's my intention to trust more. It's my intention to open more. It's my intention to, be deeper in my facilitation. I just was it. Right? Because I am mother now. I just was it because I truly gave myself over to the initiation that was birth and is especially unassisted birth when you have no one to outsource to, right? No one telling you what to do or how to do it. So that just in my own experience, I'm so proud of that, and that was just so beautiful to witness that and feel that. And I feel more, and I was speaking to a friend about this morning as well, I feel just like my leadership and my like trust in myself and my my trust in my work just feels so 1,000,000 times stronger since becoming a mother. And again, it's so interesting that how did I ever doubt that? And of course, you don't know what's coming for you on the other side of, moving through any initiation, but through the portal of birth. So of course I didn't know how I was going to feel or who I was going to be or how I was going to experience my work. But yeah, just sitting on the other side of that now, I'm like, of course I feel like this. And of course women trust me more. Because I've moved through that initiation. Of course my spaces feel fiercer and stronger, and this is claimed, this is full spectrum woman that I'm launching right now. So if you can't, well, not even if you can't, even if you can make it to claimed or make it to a full spectrum woman, like get in the fucking room with me for a year, full spectrum woman. We've just relaunched it. It's no longer a membership. It's a year-long container of deep group coaching with me every fortnight, coaching with Jacob every second month, and pleasure ceremony and practice every month. My whole body of work that I've been working on for 4.5 years, the whole curriculum, a vault of replays. It's like 80 plus hours that you can binge, pleasure practices, all my masterclasses on relationships, all my masterclasses on pleasure and sex and pleasure anatomy and all the things. It's literally just pretty much everything I've ever done, plus coaching with me for an entire year, twice a month, and much more, and community. So get in the motherfucking room. Like I said, you're going to want to be in my world right now. I'm on fire.
You have changed. You have changed.
Hey.
Can I speak to the maiden to mother piece? Because I like to speak about women and what they go through.
Because I'm an authority on women.
I'm an authority on women. But I want to speak because I really truly believe in rites of passage and initiatory sequences, and whilst you may not have consciously created it. I believe what women got to experience in the room with you was an initiatory sequence that really symbolically represented a rite of passage, which a rite of passage actually takes you deeper into who you truly are.
Yeah.
You don't actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
You go deeper within yourself. That's the whole concept of a rite. It's a ritual to connect deeper with who you truly are. And when you connect deeper, you then have the capacity to expand from that place, which means you can take more responsibility for your life. Like you said with the women, like claimed is not necessarily about getting someone to claim you. It's about becoming the woman that is so indescribably, uniquely true to who she is in that deep place that there's no other way but for her to be claimed by evoking that. What I really feel that I've done well and I want to speak into, which I think is like important for men to understand or for women to be able to feel into, is like, I haven't forgotten about the maiden within you. Like, and what I mean by that is that I see you as mother, yes, but I also still see you as Meg. And I still see you in the, quite often it can be, well, now you're a mother, you're no longer the whore, you're no longer the businesswoman, you no longer get to be any of those things no longer hold weight in my awareness. It's like, for me, my perspective of you is that you're still a part of you, that the maiden is integrated within you, it's not dead.
Yes,
it exists within you, whilst mother is what you've expanded into. Yes, there's still the desire to serve women through your business. There's still the desire to suck cock and ride and orgasm and scream and wail and do these things. Like that still exists within you. And I feel I've been very, very conscious of breathing life into all aspects of you. And I've made sure that you felt, I've also made sure that our home and our relationship has had room enough for you to be all of who you are. Like if we're going to play this full spectrum woman card, it's like you're not just full spectrum mother, you're full spectrum woman. So for me, what I've consciously done, and has stretched me, don't get me wrong, like there's many times where I've wanted you to can you just only be a mother and just let me get and do what I want to do?
Can I work 5 days a week, please?
Yeah, can I work 5 days a week? Can you do some more cooking? Can you do some cleaning? Can you actually keep your word? Like you said, you were going to clean the inside of the house if I cleaned the outside of the house, and you haven't actually done that. You've done it maybe twice.
Have we spoken about that a lot?
No, but we need to bring that up. But yeah, like I've been very conscious not to just see you through this societal lens of now you're a mother, you can only do these things. Yeah. Because I believe a man has responsibility in how the relationship, the quality of the container for the relationship. So if I'm only bringing the lens or the perspective of mother and projecting that onto you, you're not going to feel the room to bring all those other parts of you. And you can still bring it, yes, but it will create tension or conflict in the relationship because the man is not seeing you for the fullness of who you are. And this is the issue I see a lot of men falling into with old school masculine feminine dynamics. They're like, well, I've just got to be the man and only be masculine so she can only be feminine and surrender into her femininity. I'm like, yes, awesome, love that for you, bro. But also, where are you only allowing her to be a certain way so you can be a certain way so everything fits into your happy little control box? And that for me is where I start to lose where they lose me, these polarity teachers or these relationship teachers that quite often aren't in relationship, who quite often haven't actually gone through the initiatory sequences themselves or in relationship, and therefore are just applying a formula that doesn't really actually honour the depth of what you can create in a relationship should you choose each other deeply and should you choose your path deeply also.
I love that. I feel like we need to put this guy on the floor one more time.
Yep, I'll do that.
And I will respond. This is like a call and response podcast. Hey-ho. Hey-ho. Hey.
You got that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that piece and that conversation around honoring my maiden and still knowing that within your own psyche, not just looking at me and experiencing me through that lens of your mother now. And I talk a lot about in my work this Madonna whore complex that we have and we put on women, which is you're either mother, pure, mother of Jesus, or like mother of Christ, like you didn't even have to, which is the Madonna, you didn't even have to have sex to give birth or like have a baby, or the whore. And so when a woman goes through that initiation of motherhood, and often an initiation that, you know, for many women can be a traumatic experience where they didn't feel held, and they didn't feel, you know, in their body, and they didn't, you know, this is many women's reality. But going through that initiation and then being held within their relationship, held hostage in this box of your mother now, it should look like this, you're not allowed, you know, you've stepped out of that box, you cannot be the whore anymore, you cannot be this, you cannot be that.
You can't draw on these other things that actually give you life.
Yes.
Because women are like, oh, it's like, you know, I've heard women say this, oh, it's actually been, you know, it's been pretty hard, like, oh, the adjustment. It's like, well, yeah, because... Sorry, you go. I'm just having a lot of downloads. Yeah, like it's like you're not actually feeding the parts of you that give you more energy, more life, more vibrancy to meet motherhood, to meet you know, the other areas that feed you, the sex, the business, the textures that are beforehand you had access to, which then there was a giving and receiving in. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think motherhood can't, like, of course, every woman has a different experience of motherhood. I'm not saying it can't be hard or it's not allowed to be hard or you're doing it wrong if it's hard. No way. And I think culturally, if we look at this, like not one woman's experience, but culturally and collectively, we tell a woman, you're a mother now, okay, your partner goes to work 9 to 5, you're in your home with just your baby, and you're not allowed to be anything else. And you need to do it perfectly. Right? No screens, no phones, no nothing. You just be with your baby every second of the day.
Read them 100 books.
I would not feel okay if that was my reality. I would not. I'm thriving. I feel so nourished. I feel, honestly, and I'm being so truthful, I feel the best I've ever fucking felt in my body, in my life, in our partnership, as a woman, in my business, all of it. I feel the best I've ever fucking felt. It's because I refuse to fuck with any of those stories. I refused it in my pregnancy. I refused it in my birth. I refuse it in motherhood. And our relationship, like I've consciously allowed myself to go, my work feeds me. I want to go and be fed by my work. You know, I'm also blessed and have intentionally created work where my work looks like me in my office and my baby in the next room and me coming out to play with him and hug him and kiss him and feed him and then go back in for a little bit. Like that's what my work looks like. You know, but this is the reason, like me feeding all of those parts of me, and then our relationship, like you consciously really knowing that, you know, my motherhood, to feel fed in my motherhood is actually all these other pieces, feeding all these other pieces that then filter into my mothering. And then when I'm feeling fed as a mother, that feeds all these other pieces too. And right now it's like my mothering, the fact that I've given birth and become mother, has electrified my fucking work. And it's put a fire under myself and my mission and the women in my mission, and like I'm holding space like I've never held it before. What's moving through me is like so much more fiery and connected and just deep than ever before. I'm sure the women in my world can feel that, right? Being a mother has done that, but then also showing up in my work and allowing myself the space to be that and bring that and be a vessel for that creativity is also meaning I'm alive as a mother. I'm on fire as a mother. I'm so present. I'm joyful as a mother. I'm honestly enjoying spending time with my son. I find it life-giving. But like I said before, I don't feel like I would if you went to work 9 to 5 and we kind of did what our culture tells us a kind of family unit should look like in those early days of motherhood. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it's impossible for a woman that has that lifestyle to feel that way, but I'm going to say it's probably very fucking hard. Like, another reason, just like circling all the way back to before when I said people looking at, I've gotten so many questions like, how are you running these events? How are you doing this? You're breastfeeding, you're doing it. Like, you know, and you said it beautifully before, like you're holding me in all of me, and you're knowing that me in service feeds me, and a mama that's fed, a mama that's nourished feeds the family, and so that's a priority for you. So you are, last week before claimed, you gave me lots of space. You pressed pause on some things in your business so that I could really take up a lot of space with my business last week in our family. And then you could be with Oshi for those 3 days where, you know, I was really fucking on. You let me go to the bar. You encouraged me.
Gave you permission.
You booked me in to go to the bathhouse because you knew that's what was going to feed me and therefore feed our relationship and feed our family. Like, these decisions that we're making decisions as this family unit, knowing that us nourished is supporting our whole family unit to thrive. And part of what nourishes us is our service. And I just want to add one more piece before you go for it. I go to New York on Tuesday with Oshi and my mum because my sister lives there. So I'm going to be spending 10 nights in New York, which I'm really fucking excited about.
I'm getting a bit sad, to be honest.
I know. Someone asked me that today. Is Jacob sad? And I was like, I think we've had quite a we've had other things that have been important and, like, you know, present for us to be with, that New York has just kind of felt like it's been a while away. And only, like, today am I really feeling like, I go to New York in, like, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. I just want to get the cut. Like, it's, like, so fun to just, like, have access to him.
I know.
So, so, like, to be 10 days is a long time. It's almost as long. I think with the longest we've ever spent apart is 14 days. So it's like... Yeah.
It's going to be more like 12 with the flights.
Yeah.
But anyway, a few weeks ago, you were like... There was, you know, you're running your business. You're running an event in Perth. And there's other people that could have run it. And you shared that, it's happening in Perth. And I knew, I could feel... that you needed to run that. Not that you wanted to run it. I could feel that it was necessary for your business. It was necessary for, you know, your movement, for you to be there.
Yes.
It didn't really make a lot of sense because it's the 3 days leading up to me going to New York and, like, you know, after I've just held claimed and we've had such a huge fucking month. But I turned to you and I said, go. Please go. We've got this. You need to be there. And so, and I genuinely meant that. And I genuinely do mean that. I'm really excited for you to do that. And so I think I just want to really, like, for those that are just, again, because I've had questions about how are we doing all of this? There is such a generosity that we're offering each other and our missions and our movements right now. And really creating this culture where there is no resentment. Like, we're just like, you were so fucking generous with me last week. The priority of our family last week was always our son first and foremost. But the priority then was my business and my mission and my service last week. Now, the priority over the next few days is your mission and your service, and that means you going to Perth, and that means me not holding any sense of resentment around you going and doing that, but going, you fucking got this. I've got our boy, you know, I'm going to my parents for 3 nights because that's what I know. I need to choose to be able to not feel resentment to you. I need to go and be with my family so that I'm not the only one with our son for 3 or 4 nights. Or when I have, you know, said go and do the thing, then I've, like, you know, made sure there's people around me and made sure someone's coming over for the night and made sure I'm getting the support that I need to feel nourished, so that you don't walk back into the room and walk back into our home feeling like, I don't want to fucking do that again because all she's doing is holding this, like, you know, weight over me. And holding me hostage to something she said I could go and do, and now I feel like she's regretting it or making me feel bad about it. And just one more. I did not feel that again. You did not really get to work that much at all last week. Not once did I feel you making me guilty or wrong or anything for that. Again, it was like, this is what our family is committed to right now in this moment. And yeah, that's how we're making this possible. It's not hey, you got 2 hours today and I only got 3. Hey, we were all in devotion to your mission last week and it was for 3 days and I've only got 2. No, it's just like, what's the truth of the motherfucking moment? What are we asked to do as creators of our own missions and as a family unit now? And I think that's just circling back to this in the start of the conversation. That's why there's such deep intimacy with us as well. And parenthood is bringing us closer because it's requiring us to really attune even more, like to step out of any part of us that was being selfish with our mission, because there is a selfishness. We could be selfish before that.
Yeah.
We didn't have to run as much by each other. hey, I want to go do this thing. You could tell me, but it didn't really make a difference. I could go do something else if you were going doing that thing. Like now it's like, oh, you go and do that thing for 3 days. I'm with our son for 3 days. Like, yeah. So it's just like burning away any selfishness, and in its place, we are filling it with devotion. That's
quite often the missing link that people are looking for in their relationship. They're like, okay, polarity. Okay, masculine and feminine. Got it. Intimacy, okay, that's where we both care and we love each other and we've got things that we do together that make us feel connected. Awesome. But then when life asks for something greater than what you've already created, when life wants you to grow and expand, it's going to have to be devotion. And devotion breaks out of the formula of you do this for me, I do this for you. Sometimes it's going to be I do this for you, I do this for you, I do this for you, I do this for you. And when you meet the point where you're like, I don't want to do it anymore, it's like there's going to be one more little invitation, like, hey, I need you to do this for me. And it's like, are you going to choose to whip out the scoreboard, or are you going to choose to practice devotion? And are you going to actually learn how to bring your desires to the space, or see where you're not nourishing or feeding yourself, or where the structure for your life is not actually conducive with what it is you deeply desire?
Oh my God, I just have so much to say on this, because this piece, and this is nuance, this is not about like, and this is energetic. This is so energetic.
This is what we crush. Like if you work with us on relationships, like if you're in a relationship that isn't, the devotion is void and you don't have that, and you guys are constantly pulling out the scoreboard, everything's great, but you're constantly like playing into, well, I've got extra credits, so you need to, pull your weight. If you're in that, like, I feel this is what we really support people with incredibly well, where we show people like, actually, you guys do love each other, and you're just being invited to be initiated through devotion into a greater depth of relating.
And how do you know that you're playing that game, like the scoreboard game, if you feel resentment in your body?
Correct. And you withhold desire and you bring complaint.
I might feel resentment in my body in our relationship for a moment. I do not carry that. I'll speak for myself. I am very liberated in, even last night I told you that I had a bath and I was feeling a bit of rage towards you. And I said to you this morning, I can count on probably one hand the times that I've felt that. And I got to clear it after. And it was around me wanting you to, Oshi biting and scratching my boob last night, and me just having enough of it. But yeah, the fact that we are so devoted to not holding resentment in our bodies and clearing it, and also again being so generous with each other, and it not being this like tit for tat relationship. And this only does work when you're both committed to that culture, right? And there has to be such a deep, it's ego obliterating, this style of relationship, because you can't go and you can't be doing acts of service or doing stuff for your partner then hoping he's going to do something back. It's, I'm doing this because I fucking love this person and I can see how deeply this is going to nourish them and love them. An example of this is like, and I really, even if you don't, we've got a specific way of living our life. Like both of us have businesses, we're at home with our son. If you're a woman and you are like at home with your baby or babies and your partner is out at work, how this can show up might be like you have the feeling of, oh, well, when he gets home, I want him to have the children, or when on the weekends I want to be around him and I really need him to be with the family the whole weekend long. Maybe a generous thing you could do is after a week where you feel that he's really tapped out is you say, hey, babe, I just want you to take Saturday morning just for you. If that feels edgy, if that feels like a bit of like, well, no, fuck you. Like, I've got to be with the children for 5 fucking days a week. How dare he cannot take the morning? Like, that's your
He
edge.
owes me.
Yeah. It's really about obliterating any of that, right? And like even a few weeks ago, maybe we go grabbing.
That's right.
Even a few weeks ago, you had a 3-day training and you were coming home each night, but like you were doing really big days.
Yeah.
And I had my mum and dad here one of the days, and then on the second day it was really long and Oshi was teething a little, so it was like, a bit stretchy. And I was looking for, and I had a lot of work to do too, so I can't really work when I'm just with Oshi. I like just, when someone else is with him, then I can lock in.
And when your parents are down here, you guys throw everything out.
Oh my God, my mum, I thought I'd get work done when mum and dad were here, and mum was like, let's clean your office and let's do this, and like I just end up doing house stuff with them. So I was kind of looking forward. I knew we were going to be home around 7, and so I was holding out for 7, and I actually wanted to take a bath and then do a little bit of work. You came home and you were like, oh wait, all the guys are going to dinner. And I could instantly feel like they're like, oh no. And I think I even said, oh, there was part of me that was really excited for you to come home, and I was actually already in the bathtub. I actually already envisioned myself in the bathtub in there. And then you had Ryan, who also works with you there in the moment too. And I just took a breath, and I was just like, no, what's the truth here? What feels really generous? Not what am I just like being performative about and just being like, go.
What can I give him? Because I know that he's going to have to give back to me.
Yeah, and and then hold him hostage to that later. No, I took a breath and I was like, yeah, I would love to be in the bath, and yeah, I would like to get a bit of work done, but I can feel how much this dinner means to this man. And I can feel, and you even said to me, I'm good. I do not have to go to the dinner. And I was like, no. I was like, go. And I not only said go, you went, I sent you a text and said something like, spend as long as you know, because I didn't have any dinner ready, and you're really good at like making me dinner and, you know, providing for me in that way, and we'd organized you to bring me home dinner, but I could tell, and you said, I'll only be an hour, I'm just going to make it quick, and I was like, amazing, thank you. And then when you left, I was like, no, I'm actually going to like free him even more tonight, and I sent you a text and I said, we don't need you at all, take as long as you need. Like, I've got Osh, we've got this. And for me, that felt generous. That was a devotional practice for me that night. And I got off on that. It felt beautiful to be the woman that was like, yeah, I could sit home and be like, fuck you. You told me you were going to be home at 7. Now you've got a dinner. And now I've been home with the baby all day. And I've got a job too. And I do work too. And this is an important season of my life. And I'm still selling. That was a choice. That was an option. I could have chosen that. I could have contracted myself all evening. I could have sat in there like a pit of rage all night.
That would have been very shit.
Right? I could have. And yet I chose to be generous with you, but not only you, I chose to be generous with myself because, fuck, I had a really fun night because I was liberated in my body. I felt free in my body. By freeing you, I felt free in my body.
Totally.
And again, this is such a nuanced conversation. We're not talking about, especially for women, I'm not saying push down all your desires and just let your man run free.
Like, don't be permissive. Like, don't be like the cool girl. Yeah, I don't need anything from you. Like, yeah, you do whatever you want. Yeah, like I'm a guy's girl. I don't need you to do anything for me. Like, we're not, being permissive is not what we're speaking about here, because permissive comes with an expectation that if I do this for you, then you won't leave me. You'll love me. You won't think that I'm too much.
And you came back on, so that 3-day training was the week before I had claimed.
Yeah.
And you really gave me that week after to really lock in and like prepare for claimed, and I had a masterclass and you really gave me a lot. And I remember you coming home on Sunday night and you were like, my love, this week is yours. And you said to me, and I didn't expect that, and I didn't do this.
Demand it or
I didn't do this. I didn't do the generosity on that Saturday or Friday night or whenever it was because of this, so that you would do this for me. But you came and you said, I want to give so much to you this week. You were so generous with me. You really allowed me to drop in, you know. You were really expressing basically because of how generous you were with me, I was able to facilitate really amazing. I was able to be so present with those men. I was able to really lead, and I want to gift you that too. So this week is yours, or these days are yours, or, you know, do as much as...
Like I said, I really want to know what you need to feel really supported.
Yeah.
To really just absolutely crush claim this week. Like, I want to know what would feel so supportive, so I can make sure that you have everything that you need. And I know that I've got 2 calls this week that I need to be on, but apart from that, I can really feel that choosing this is going to be really powerful for you, and I want to know that, you know, I'm here for you. And I didn't do that because I felt guilty. I did that because I felt fed, because I was in overflow, because that was the difference. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to do this for Meg because she did it for me. It's like, no, I was like, I normally am fucked after something like that. Sacred Rage is a deep dive. It's a deeply it's a deep journey. And normally I come out of that, I'm like exhausted for like 3 days. But because of the structure that I've built and the way in which you supported me and gave me the freedom to like really, really go all in and choose it without needing to constantly feel like I was owing you something, which was that was it. It wasn't that you gave me what I needed, it was that you gave me what I needed without condition. Therefore, I didn't have any guilt or anything tied to it that was then creating weight in my body.
Okay.
That's right, you keep talking.
Thank you.
Which was like, which gave me the capacity to come back to you.
And someone has to go first in a dynamic like this, and often this is where the ego obliteration comes from. If you're feeling like, oh, well, why the fuck would I be generous with my partner when I have all of these list of needs and desires in my relationship and he or she doesn't actually meet them right now, and I've been asking and he won't or she doesn't, like, that's exactly why this is your motherfucking practice. You either leave that relationship if you're not feeling fed, or you stay and you come into devotion and you let go of the scoreboard and you practice generosity through the part of you that doesn't. You practice generosity and devotion through the part of you that wants to hold your partner in resentment, because honestly, there is a part of all of us that gets off on holding our partner in a bit of resentment. Right?
Victimhood.
Yeah, there's a hit in that. There's a part of us that wants to be like, you did the wrong thing. You don't care about me. You're not generous enough. You're not, be honest with yourself in being like, where is the part of me that gets off on holding him in that? And what is it going to take for me to be able to free him and also free myself of that dynamic? And it's so glorious. Like I said, that night where I really gave you permission, and not permission to but I said, go, we don't need you. That wasn't just for you, Jacob. That was for me, because it felt better in my body to do that. It felt glorious in my body. I'm a woman devoted to liberation. The most liberating thing in my body in that moment was say, go.
That's the emerging truth.
I'm going to let go of the emerging truth. Yeah. Instead of trying to grip onto, but I knew I wanted to get work. The work will get done. The things will get done. You know, I'm going to trust this moment. I'm going to trust that this is what our family needs. I'm going to be in devotion to what our family needs.
100%. And I really feel that there's a devotion to love, like there's a devotion to, you know, what is life asking of me? And in that moment, you asked that question. I was like, it's actually asking for me to like give him the freedom to go and do what he needs to do. Yeah. And ironically, at that dinner, I caught up with a bro. He's a guy that does marketing. He's an epic dude. I love him. And I was talking to him about, and he's having some really great success with what he's doing. And then I messaged him after. I was like, hey, bro, I'd love to get some support with just some feedback. And he's like, yeah, bro. We jumped on a call. He's helped us out with a whole lot of things, and that's actually fast-tracked something that would have taken me probably 3 months to figure out on my own. So by you trusting that which life was asking you to honor, I was able to actually save myself 3 months of headache. So who am I now that I have that quantum leap in my business? Who do I get to be now in my home? Now that there's not a part of me thinking about that. There's not a part of me being drawn away from you and from Ocean, from our life. Like, what actually has fast-tracked and what actually has created more ease? Was it you having the bath or you honoring the truth?
Yes.
Which is beautiful. Like, you didn't know that I was going to have that experience. You trusted, and through that, you know, there's been a really positive experience that has allowed our business, well, the business that I'm in and what I'm creating with my bros, to actually, like, move more efficiently and more productively.
Yeah. I think we should close up in a moment. I just want to add one more thing, and this is for those of you that are listening. Really, I think it's like, and I'll speak for myself, I want to be in a partnership with you, Jacob, where you feel fed.
Yes. That's
a partnership that feels really delicious for me. When Jacob's feeling fed, I feel fed. Yes, I also want to feel fed, but I'm also very aware that union is about, you know, him. You know, when he's fed, he comes back to me fed, and I get access to that kind of man. And it's the same thing. Jacob wants to feed me because I'm a more glorious human to be with when I'm nourished and fed, right? And this is why last week when I was preparing for Claimed, it wasn't just, I'm going to give you the minimal things so you can go and go facilitate in that, like, and get it done. It was, what do you need to feel fed to do this? Hey, I think even Jacob said, I want to gift you a bathhouse session. You're going to go today. When can I fit you in? That meant him looking after our child, right? that meant him driving with us there, like all the things. But he did that because I'm a delicious woman to be with when I'm fed, and so he facilitates that. And so if you're a man listening, know that supporting your woman to be fed is going to be a delicious experience for you. And if you're a woman listening and, you know, your man, giving him time where he feels like you say, and I think this is a John Wineland thing, that space of no demand, like giving him space where he can go out and you don't need him. Like I know that when I tell you, because you are so on when you're in our home, Jacob, because whatever our son or I need, you are there. I know that what feels most life-giving for you is not being needed. So when I said to you that night, it wasn't just go and have dinner. I knew the depth of the feeding was going to get done when I said, I don't need you. Take as long as you need.
Yes.
And so just for the women listening, yes, Oisin agrees. For the women listening, like this is a gift. What would it take for you to be like, hey, go and play golf this weekend?
Get your golf on.
I don't know, that's such a
That's so funny that you golf is so
I don't know, well, I do know that.
mid-30s, young children. You know what, go have a game of golf, hon.
They're like, go and play golf, and I'm not going to text you a million times while you play golf. Go and play golf, and I've got this. I don't need, our family doesn't need you till 2 o'clock today. Go do whatever the fuck you want. You know, and this obviously, if you're thinking, and if you're a woman thinking, but what if he goes and does that, and what if he doesn't choose to use that time properly? There's a lot of fucking work there. Either that relationship is not for you because you do not trust that man, or you have a lot of work to do in letting go of control, trying to control this man. What if what feeds him is going to play video games until 2 o'clock? You've got to be fucking okay with that. He's literally trying to cheat. Sorry if that is very abrasive in your ears, listeners. But you've got to let go of what you think if you give him that time or gift him that time, but then you have conditions on, well, you didn't use it. You didn't use it correctly. You went and did this with your friends. Oh my God, you video gamed? Oh, you did this? Right? No.
Nerd.
Right? Your practice is to just go and feed yourself. We don't need you by 2. I actually don't give not give a fuck what you do, but like you're free, and not even you're free, but like go and do you. Go and do whatever you need, and then come back.
And how he feeds himself has nothing to do with you and your worth. Like if he wants to play video games, if he wants to go and surf, or if he wants to go and watch the footy, or if he wants to go and golf, like men do men shit.
Yeah.
And it's not a reflection of how much he loves, cares, or doesn't love or doesn't care about you. Like when he goes and does that, he's doing it purely for himself. And if he has a space of no demand to do that, where there is no guilt, shame or judgment for what he's choosing to do, he will come back to you fed, filled up and ready to engage and create a deeper connection, because he feels like himself. And when he feels like himself, he's going to bring himself to you. He's not going to bring the watered down version, the guarded version, the I'm not good enough version to you. He's going to bring the fullest, most generous version of him, because he's been generous with himself and he's felt safe to do that within the relationship. So whether it's golf, whether it's gaming, or whether it's whatever it is for him, that activity will feed him in a way that you can't. Sorry, that's the truth. But what it does is it gives him more access to who he is, so that he can bring more of who he is back to you, and that in itself is going to completely shift the dynamic of your relationship and have you feeling more fed as well, because connection is an important part of relating, and we want to be connected from that deepest part of ourselves.
I'm just going to add one more piece and then let's close out. When you're freeing him of, hey, me and our family don't need you, or if you don't have a family with this man, you can just say, hey, I don't need you today. I don't need anything from you today. Go and do you. You're also, that means nothing if he then steps back into the space and you're full of judgment, and this can be very overt or covert, but he can feel your judgment around how he's chosen to spend that time. If you're agreeing to this, you're also choosing to free him of your judgment around that. I think that might be a little hard on his ears. Little mic.
I just thought that would be cute for the video.
Oh, she's like, honestly, like chewing the mic right now, which you can probably hear. So yeah, free, like just letting, and this is, and I'm speaking really to women here because this is so much more common for women. This is your work. This is your motherfucking work. If you're going, if already like your skin is crawling and you're going, I don't trust, he wouldn't even use that time. He's so tired at work and he would probably go and fucking just be on his phone for those hours and then he'd come back and he would be exhausted. Like, that's actually your shit to deal with. Like, there's so much in that. Not trusting your man, not trusting him to take care of himself, not like the part of you that actually wants him to step back into this house and you want to. Like, and this is going to feel hard to hear. You actually want him to fuck up so you can go, told you so. Told you so. You didn't even use it. I gave you 6 hours today and you've just fucking scrolled your phone the whole time. There is a part of you that gets off on that, feeling like you know better, feeling like, you know, yeah, he doesn't know anything, he's not capable of using his time, You don't trust that man. I'm not saying that man is not trustable, I'm saying you're choosing not to trust that man. Trust is a choice. Trust is a choice. So if this is making your skin crawl, if you're having those questions, that's a whole lot of your work to do. And if you're a woman, I would suggest coming into my work. Come and join us in Full Spectrum Women. Come and work on your own body so that you can trust this man and you can generously gift him with space and generously be devotional so that you can also offer that, he can offer that to you and you can deeply receive this. This is like how reciprocity works and devotion works in relationship. Okay, like I said, doors are open to Full Spectrum Women right now.
Get inside.
I don't, like, if you're listening to this, you need it. I feel like every woman needs to be in Full Spectrum Woman. It's like a year initiation. Come inside. You get access to me. If you like the fucking podcast, imagine me in a Zoom room with you live 3 times a month and Jacob every second month, and this wisdom directly personalized to you and your situation and your life and your sex life, your intimacy, your life as a woman. There's so much there. Please come and join us. The link is going to be in the show notes, or you can just hit me up on Instagram if you have questions. I'm always available on, just wait, just with the sound. I'm always available on Instagram if you have questions around wanting to join but being unsure of what's alive and having questions about whether it's right fit. I'm here. What about you? Oh, and the claimed waitlist is open. We're going to confirm dates by the July or August, but there's only 10 spots, so jump on the waitlist if you're interested. It's below as well. Yeah,
I just got a message from one of the women from the first claim, just like speaking into the beautiful experience that we get to co-create on the Saturday, the middle day 2. And it's just so beautiful to hear how that is still filtering into her life, how that is still sustaining her and guiding her in her life. And it was just really beautiful to acknowledge that this work, when you do it, it doesn't just stop at the retreat. You don't finish when you leave. It actually filters out, and we're both really custodians of this work, but we're also spokespeople for sustainable body-based processing that allows you to go out and integrate it into every area of your life, which for me, my love, witnessing you and the women at Claimed over the last 3 days, it was poetry in motion. Like you said, it was a fucking masterpiece. So if you're a woman who has forgotten that you are an incredible, beautiful piece of artwork that is here to be honoured, claimed, ravished, and have your world rocked by a beautiful, present, and devoted and conscious man, then please, like, it would be an honour to see more women choosing that, and just I just, what I take from it too is that it feeds the new way for men to step up as well. I think, you know, we can want men to do more work, but if you're a woman and you want to do that work, like, that is how you invite men, by deepening into your own core. And this is also an invitation for the men. You know, we're starting to run Sacred Rage across Australia. We do it in Gold Coast. We're over in Perth this weekend. We're down in Sydney in late April. We're down in Melbourne again, late May. And we're really wanting to create more and more access to this beautiful, deep rites of passage work that gives you the access point to the start of your journey. So if there are any men who want to start that, get involved in that, we have a beautiful offer where we offer a ticket to Sacred Rage, a ticket to the Gathering of Men, and 12 months in our academy for $3,000. It's ridiculous value. We have a payment plan available. So if you're a man who wants to go all in and really just really invest in yourself, in something that's going to really initiate you, educate you, and provide you with the acknowledgement through brotherhood. The EMI all-in offer gives you Sacred Rage, a full-day workshop. It gives you the Gathering of Men, which is the 4-day men's retreat, unlike any other. And it also gives you 12 months access to our academy. So we'd love to have you guys in there. If you feel the call, the link will be down in the show notes. And is there anything else, my love, that we need to speak on? It feels good to be back in the seat with you. Bless up and big love, family. Peace.
Bye.